Module 1, Section 4, and this is going to be Objective 4. Objective 4 says translate a phrase into a mathematical expression containing whole numbers. So basically what they're going to do is start with a sentence using actual words, and you have to change it to math. Okay, so basically you're going from English to math. And later we'll go the other direction as well. Okay, but for right now we're going to go English to math. So given the equation 14 plus 20 equals 34, using only words, come up with as many different ways that you can verbally describe what it's communicating. Okay, so 14 add 20 is 34. That's one way, right? You could say 14 plus 20 equals 34. But now let's get a little bit more creative. Okay, how about 20 more than 14? Does that make sense? More than means you're going to add it on to, right? 20 more than 14. We started with 14, we added 20. Is 34. Okay? So this is kind of going backwards. We start with the math and we're translated it into the English. So we're going to do the backwards part first. Okay, what about the sum? We talked about that, right? Add means sum. The sum of 14 and 20 is 34. Okay, how about 14 increased by 20 is 34. Okay, all of these words here, more than, sum, increased by, those all mean add. And that's what we're going to be translating in this section here. Okay, this table, they're asking you to put in some words like we just talked about that help you figure out what all of the different symbols mean. Okay, so we've talked about sum. We did more than on the last screen, and we did increased by. Okay, if we can think of any others, we can put them in this chart, but that's what we've done so far. Okay, we know that subtraction is difference, right? The difference between two numbers. Now, connected to more than, if you're subtracting something, it's not more than, it's less than, right? So those are definitely inverses of each other. And because add and subtract are inverses, that should help us do this one as well. What's the opposite of increased by? And it's decreased by. Okay, now what is equal? What are some different words that we've used? You saw me use the word is. Results in, that's kind of something. If like 3 plus 7 results in 10, it's kind of a strange way of saying it, but it's a possibility, right? Okay, now equal depends a lot on what your operation is, whether it's add or subtract. Like if you wanted to say total, that would be a sum, right? But you don't total a difference. Okay, so we're not going to use that one. Okay, so we'll come back and add more if we have any, okay? Okay, let's do theirs in the boxes first. So, the sum, that means add, of 57 and 68. So there you go, 57 add 68. And it says translate them into an expression and then simplify. In other words, compute it. Okay? There are so many different words for compute, simplify. evaluate. Okay, so compute. All right, B. What is the difference? So that's a subtract, right? You can look on a little chart if you need to. Between 7,501 and, so that's where you put your subtract, 680. So you figure that one out and you get this. Okay, we'll do the actual subtraction on our problems. I'm just going to show you over here how to set them up. What number do you get when you subtract 589 from 1,000? So we're subtracting it from 1,000. You start with the 1,000 and then you subtract. And they got 411. Okay, and the last one here. 23 added to what number gives you 91? Okay, 23 added to what number gives you, okay? We can put that on here just because that would be something to remember, right? So, gives you. Just so you understand that that's the equal part, right? Okay, so this technically is not an expression. This is an equation with a blank in it. Okay, but that's good enough for this particular problem and this assignment. Okay, so here we go. C. Subtract 927. I need to figure out what that actually says. Okay, here it is, a little bit better. Sorry about that. Okay, so E. Subtract 927 from 1,023. Okay, so we're subtracting one from another. So we're starting with the second one. We're starting from this one. Well, let's change the font size too, shall we? Okay, so we're starting with 1,023. And we're going to subtract 927 from it. Okay, so there's your expression. Now we want to, I'm going to make it smaller even, we're going to figure out what it's equal to. Okay, so let's line it up so we can subtract. Okay, so borrow from the 2, 3 is a 13, 13 minus 7 is 6. So now we're going to borrow from the 10, the 1 is now an 11, 11 minus 2 is 9, and 9 minus 9, we don't need anything, so just 96 is your answer. Okay, F. What is 342 increased by, so that means add, right, 281. Okay, so we have 300, whoops, where did that 8 come from? 342 increased by 281. Okay, there's your expression. Now let's figure out the answer. Add them up. So 2 plus 1 is 3, 4 plus 8 is 12, 3 plus 2 is 5, plus the one we carried is 6. So that is 623. All right, G. What is 729 decreased by, so that's going to be subtract, 384. Okay, so 729 minus 384. Okay, line them up. On subtract, your first one always has to go on the top. So 9 minus 4 is 5. 2 minus 8, can't do it, so we're going to borrow. 12 minus 8 is 4, and 6 minus 3 is 3. So 345. And the last one. what number, so this is what we don't know what that number is, decreased by, so that's subtract, 145 gives you, here's our equal sign, right? 237. So, what number decreased by 145 gives you 237? Okay, so we're looking for the whole, because the whole minus one part is going to equal the other part. So we're going to add these two together to get our answer. So 237 add 145. 12. 1 and 3 is 4. 4 and 4 is 8. And 3. So 382 goes in that blank. And that is the end of this video.